Welcome to another episode of SMN. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's been eating people up left and right around the world. From Chicago to New York City, Los Angeles, Belize. Who is the #1 selling artist in the history of the country of Belize? Guys, this topic is bothering a lot of people. Every time Berne is on stage, or whenever Berne is doing a video and is talking about the #1 selling artist in the history of Belize, and he mentioned himself, everybody gets all shaken up. Artists feel the jealousy, the envy, the hate, everything boils up and erupts. But let's be honest with ourselves, guys. Let's be truthful. To be the #1 selling artist in the history of Belize, you have to have sold more music, more of your music than any other artist in the history of the country. That means Lord Draven, it means Paul Mavor, it means Mr. Peters, it means Under Palacio, it means everyone. Alright? Now we're talking about Belize. We're not talking about the #1 selling artist in the history of New York. We're not talking about the #1 selling artist in the history of the United States of America, or Japan, or Canada, or anywhere else. So if you've sold 1 billion in Japan, great. Now, the #1 selling artist in the history of the country of Belize has sold more than 215,000 CDs in Belize. My name is Berne Velasquez. I am the #1 selling artist in the history of the country of Belize. And I would challenge any artist to contest that. If you sold more than 215,000 copies of your CDs in Belize, guys, I would like to know about it, because I want to stop saying that if you have sold more than me. When I say the #1 selling artist in the history of the country of Belize, I'm talking about music sold in Belize, not anywhere else in the world. Whatever is sold in the world is sold in the world. The tours I do, the concerts I promote, the money I make from my music in Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Colombia, and all these other countries that I've traveled to selling my music, I don't count that. And that doesn't make me any better than anybody else. All I'm saying is, guys, you can always get out there and do your thing independently. That's what I've chosen to do. I've chosen to be an independent artist. That's why I'm an independent artist. For me to go sign a deal to anybody and sign my life away is the easiest thing for me to do. It is the easiest thing to do. Why is anyone else not selling their music in the streets? Because you're intimidated. You're afraid of rejection. They're afraid to be told no. They're afraid to look bad. They're afraid of themselves and the results that they might receive. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of reality. I am who I am. I accept that. I don't care what you think about me. This is why you could see me every day living the life of someone who don't care what you think. Do you see me dressed like I want to impress somebody I don't know and I don't care about? To spend my money with someone I don't like and who don't like me? Really? Open your eyes, guys. We're in a war, and it's up to us to know and to do what's necessary to win this war. The #1 selling artist in the history of the country is the #1 selling artist in the history of the country. And I don't really even care about that title. They can have that title for all I care. Don't touch the happiness, the joy, the love, and the fruits of my labor. Everything else you could take. Take the title, take the name, take the green card, take the visa, take the passport. But don't you touch my peace of mind, love, happiness. Thank God. Allah Akbar, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. All praise is due to Allah. As I continue to shine, I bow down with humility to you, the people, to Allah, who have given me everything that I've always dreamt about and worked so hard to earn. The #1 selling artist in the history of the country goes out in the streets and he sells his music, because the Belizean record stores don't push Belizean artists. And Belizean people just started supporting Belizean artists after I taught them how to do it. Because the Belizean people were not buying Belizean artists' music. If you're not selling music, you will never be the #1. I don't care how good you look. I don't care how good you can sing. I don't care what tone of voice you have. If you're not selling, you'll never be the number one selling. If you're not selling, you will never be the number one selling. Alright? And now that we got that understood, guys, and we got that out the way, we're going to go ahead and show you a little bit of the clippings of Berne on the world scene now, doing what he have done in Belize. I figured, hey, if I've sold over 215,000 CDs in a country with less than 350,000 people, that's almost 80% of the population of the country. Why don't you try it in Honduras? Why don't you do it in Guatemala? Why don't you do it in Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, Peru, Chile? Take it to Mexico. Let's go. So this is just me on the grind, doing what I do, letting you guys get a quick snippet, a quick little view of what it's like when I'm on the grind, all right?
You have to be odd to be number one. If you're going to be a statistic, be in the 1%. The minority that do, believe. The minority that do, achieve.
They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I say someone has to be setting the standard. Statistics will tell you it's impossible to make it. Only a fraction succeed in life. Huge failure rate.
It's all about positive progress, progressive movements. 2020, we're not playing, we're going all the way, all right?